somebody do a very, very quick recap, and then we can jump in.
Last time was Lockhart Day, as Lockhart ran from a horde of robots.
Lockhart's Day Out with JJ.
Lockhart's terrible, no good, very bad day off.
In which both Lockhart and JJ left very fucked up.
Just barely managed to limp their way to Veloska's.
And
JJ bleeding out
pass
in the passenger seat. Lockhart driving with a fucking concussion.
And immediately passed out as soon as she was through the door.
Mm-hmm. But they made it. You guys did great.
We're alive.
So, what we will do is we will fast forward, or rather, shift the camera as you both collapse into Voloska's room, and he begins to treat your wounds, because at a similar time, actually probably a few hours before, maybe 2-ish hours before this, in a different ward, far from where you guys are at the moment, Kaya is currently watching Ben Getty plug himself into a machine. The full dive machine, I believe, is the name we've started collectively calling it.
Because you've not given us another name.
It just works. I can't remember where I heard the term full dive from, but it just works. It's a great name.
You don't. That was the name of the fucking virtual reality gear. Cosmic.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Hey,
better
Getty.
than
Oh.
it's better than whatever Ben Getty could come up with. So stick with it. Count
Yeah,
yourself lucky.
Ben Getty is not one for names, or not a very good. Doesn't have a very good convention for naming schemes. But
Where'd you hear the name Full Dive? You, bitch. You made it up.
I thought it was one of you guys.
No.
No. Ben Getty
Cool.
specifically asked Cosmic, hey, you have full dive gear, right?
Great, good work for me then. Kudos to the DM.
And watch, it's some shit that he's pulled out of the book and is actually a writer's thing.
Shush.
Stop taking
Who knows,
credit,
man?
Joe.
It was clearly my idea the whole time. But anyway, you guys are currently, Kaya, I say you guys, it's you and Ben Getty, and he has jumped into the full dive machine.
I think while she was
To-
turned around.
More or less while you were turned around. Like it was not like you weren't paying attention, but there was just enough time between like doing one thing and doing another where he was able to get in and swivel the headgear around and pop it on and start the process. And once the process is initiated, there's not really a good way to stop it. So you just are kind of saddled with it there for I believe like almost an hour. You will have to be there to monitor it because it takes a while to dump someone in and dump someone out. I can't remember the time
You said 10
constraints
minutes
I set
at
for
the
it.
point that he has made it. It's 10 minutes in and then 10 minutes out.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. 10 minutes. That's what I thought. I knew it was 10 minutes out.
Mm-hmm.
But cool.
10 minutes in. I'll tell you right now, Joe.
Yeah?
After the 10 minutes in, Kaya counts to 5 and then starts to shut down.
Cool. Yeah. So
I'm gonna tell you right now, she pulls out her fucking watch, she counts to 5, looks at Larry, holds a finger up to her lips, and then just hits the start the spit out process.
So the process itself, both for going in and, well, you haven't seen really like someone exit the machine generally whenever Kaya's been there. Most of the time it's been like either in use or very recently out of use. But like the getting in process is there's not really any big fanfare. It's pretty much like pull the device over your head, sit yourself in the seat, and then initiate the start sequence. And the sequence itself, you hear the machine like kick on, kind of how the same sort of energy not energy, what's the word? Oh my god, like kickoff ramp up that you get from a computer when it turns on, where you hear a couple of fans spin up as it starts to like build up a lot of power to start the sequence. But you like see him sitting there and his body goes not limp, but you can see like there's sort of a point you notice when he's no longer there. It's like watching someone fall asleep, where 1 second you're staring at someone, and then a few seconds later, you know that you could like wave your hand back and forth and snap your fingers, and they're not going to wake up. But you watch Ben Getty sink into unconsciousness with no real fanfare about it. And as he does, you immediately kick your hand out and flip your wrist and look at your watch and count to 5.
You know what? She'll be nice. She'll count to 10.
Okay. Are you sure?
She's...
Okay, you count to 10.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
So you pull out. Does she wear a watch, or is it like integrated in her arm, her metal arm?
I feel like she's old school enough to have a watch.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Another
So you
thing for
actually
Legacy to bitch at her
wear.
about.
Yeah, it's just like it is like an appreciation for the vintage technology.
It's like your traditional fucking like durable as fuck work watch.
Mm-hmm.
That she's got, and also fucking her main point to Legacy bitching at her about it is that she wears her watch in her left. Her right arm is the cybernetic.
So you like watch Ben Getty in. There's a brief like, and you bring up your arm and count, and it feels like the longest 10 seconds of your life as you just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then you walk over and begin the exit process. The sequences, you haven't committed it perfectly to muscle memory, but you know the process. It takes you a little bit of like, okay, go here, check this step. You're kind of going very procedurally. The modifications you have made all seem to be working flawlessly. And now you have 20 minutes to kill as you begin the exit process, and the machine doesn't make any noticeable noises as you start it, but you can see that there is an integrated timer that is showing like the process of exiting, almost like a loading bar.
Okay.
And you can actually go over to the lab, or not the lab, the computer in the lab that Ben Getty has connected to the machine, where the isolated environment is. And you remember seeing this computer before because it had the Larrys, the other ones, connected to it, or inside it, contained within it. And seeing it, there's a little bit of like a weight when you look at it. You just see almost like an old typewriter style CRT monitor where you just see like a blank screen with a flashing like insert line thing. I can't remember what it's called, but the little blinking box where text would appear.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like command prompt?
Old school.
Yeah, like an old school command prompt window.
Yeah, like essentially when you go on Linux and you do Command T. Yeah.
So you see this like blank command window as the environment is completely devoid of basically anything, and then it starts to populate. And unlike the Larrys, you are looking at it and it looks like someone is typing. It's typing words. And it's very strange because you are watching the prompt. It's typing very quickly, faster than you can type. If you've ever used ChatGPT and entered a prompt where it can like really, really go, it is typing fast, very, very quickly. And it is just like you can scroll up and look and read all of what's being sent, but it just kind of reads like not gibberish, but it's very stream of consciousness. It is like a continuous stretch of thought that kind of tumbles into the next thought, into the next thought, into the next thought, and so on and so forth. And it just goes and goes and goes and goes. Occasionally you'll see references to things that you understand. Like you can see at one point the dialogue box, which you assume is Ben Getty, you assume that is what is coming out of his brain. You see it reference like something about Star Wars, describing the environment as some kind of hologram, and then it tumbles into something about a song, and there are song lyrics, and then it tumbles into something about absence, like forgetting something, and then it tumbles into something about family, and then that tumbles into something about absence again, and then it tumbles back into Star Wars, and then it tumbles back, and then it tumbles into something new, and he starts thinking about you and legacy, and then Lockhart, and from Lockhart he goes to Voloska, and then he starts tumbling into things like his own physical health and parts of his brain. And then that stumbles back into a previous thought way in the back where he is once again thinking about something missing, like a piece or an absence. And that keeps reoccurring. It's almost like if you could map out the subjects that, like that spider web chart that Z made for Spelljammer,
Yeah.
you can see how some of the threads between these different subjects connect. And you can see that every so often, it doesn't matter kind of where you are along this chain, this daisy chain of connections in his brain, every so often, it just warps all the way back around to missing, like it's like an absence or an emptiness or a void. And the data you're getting, the sheer amount of like thought coming out all at once, you just watch it go and go and go and go and go, and you kind of lose yourself in it for a few minutes because he is going, his input in the environment lasts, he was only able to input information for 10 seconds real time, but he is able to think at a much, much faster rate. So you are getting like, almost like, there's almost like lag between the thought that when he has stopped thinking and when you will stop receiving thought. It would be like if you were pouring something from a source of water, and then you cut off the source, water will still flow for a little bit, even though there's no more from the source. Go ahead and make, let me see here. Also, you're in Roll20 now, right?
No.
Her name's not at the bottom.
Oh no. Oh, you're right.
I can roll for her though.
Then someone roll for her. You can do an engineering check.
Whoop.
Engineering.
Smarts and engineering.
3. Okay. You want any extra shit?
This is all very technical. If you have a talent that would relate to like just knowing things about technology, I don't know if I can't remember.
Her
If
nerd.
you,
Her nerd skill essentially.
+1 on all related rolls. Yeah, so you would get +1 from that.
Because
What?
she's fucking nerd.
Can I use prep or anything?
Sure. Fuck it, right? This is pretty important, I think.
Oh.
So, use a prep to boost.
Clever.
You have it.
Yeah, it's
So
not
why
like you
not
don't
use it,
have
right?
It's not like you don't have a lot of prep or anything.
It's not like my character is built around prep.
So 17.
Yeah, so you're watching this stream of consciousness that is being typed out. Well, typed in quotation marks. And it is a little difficult for you to process all of the information that's coming out in like a sensible way because it's not organized. This is just this is a very limited way of representing a pattern of thought. And you're kind of starting to engineer engineer it now, because you're looking at this environment and you're like, okay, the way that we are looking at the information coming out of this machine is text. If Ben-Getty is trying to think of an image, or if he is thinking of some kind of image, we won't be able to see that, right? At least you don't think you would be able to see an image. If he thinks of a conscious word or something that he can understand, that a type interface can show you in 26 or 27 letters and a handful of symbols, like there's only so many things that can properly translate directly to the English language, especially when you're concerning really, really vague concepts and things that happen when you're thinking. So, as you're reading this, you're starting to get an idea of like, maybe you could change this environment that Ben-Getty has to be a little bit better at facilitating understanding of what the other person is actually thinking. The setup here is not bad, but it's incomplete. And remind me again what Kaya's got 2 degrees, right?
She has a doctorate in engineering and physics.
Cool. So there's something that Kaya would have a very, very deep understanding of. And she's sort of reading this paper, reading this output, and every so often words will just pop up in the middle of things. Like a thought would be, I remember something like this anxiety in Star Wars that had something to do with interest, and it's like almost like interrupting words. And as you are looking at it, you could probably work with Legacy to really, really do this, but you have an idea kind of stewing in the back of your mind that you could kind of make a sort of map of what words and data are here and turn it into something that is something a little bit more concrete, so that you could say yeah, when you were in the machine, Ben-Getty, I could tell that you were thinking of X, Y, and Z, and those thoughts kind of connected to these thoughts, and you could start to formulate where he draws comparisons, and you could see the pattern of his thinking rather than this one-dimensional string of words that just goes and goes and goes, it would be like turning a comma separated value file into like something more sensible, like an image map. But as you start to have that idea, and you're kind of having this like new thought pop into your head, the text on the screen, it just stops. And there's no more. It is just cut off at the end of a sentence. You're not even sure if it was the end of a sentence or not. It's just kind of a hanging thought. And it was very stark to go from like rapid fire words for like 3 or 4 minutes to just go to dead stop. And as you kind of look at it, you can see that the timer for the exit is just over the halfway point. And I'm going to look at your sheet instead of asking you. I'm going to look.
I mean, I've got a good idea for sheet.
Of your cool defense?
Oh, nope, don't. Oh, her cool defense is as low as it can fucking get, my dude.
7.
If I remember correctly. Z, you can double check.
Mm-hmm.
I dumped cool and did not invest shit into defenses.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So.
God damn! I thought you are somehow squishier than Legacy, ma'am.
What part of... Okay, scroll down to her specializations. What part of Kaya is built for utility do you not understand? Look, scroll down. Look at her fucking specialties.
Because I got 2 8s and 2 13s.
She's not built... She's built for utility, okay?
Kaya's got tough defense.
Her tough defense
clever.
is the same as Legacy's, I think, or just barely better.
That's good. but Kaya, like, you've been working on this machine for working on it. A mix of working on it and working with Ben-Getty kind of to the left and right of it. And you've been in this lab for what is pushing 16 hours? Like, and you've only just now really fired it on and let Ben-Getty behind the wheel of it. How, knowing that, like, this is all, even though it is quote-unquote well-tested in this environment, how does Kaya feel about how does she feel about what she sees, the similarities to what it kind of draws from with what she saw from Maxine? And, like, is there any sort of anxiety?
Yeah.
Yeah?
If there was anxiety right off the bat from when Ben-Getty first went still.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think she's seen him still unless he was unconscious. And the first bit of it that comes to mind with the anxiety of testing this thing is the fucking crash.
Mm-hmm.
He was very still, which is very unnerving.
That is a good point. Like, Ben-Getty is a very fidgety person. He's usually picking something on his face, like scratching, kind of poking and prodding at himself, fidgeting with his fingers, moving around, kind of shifting in his seat, unable to really get comfortable.
Yeah.
It's unusual to see him not moving. And yeah, in the chair, he is perfectly still.
Mm-hmm. That's just unnerving. It's unnatural. He's a gremlin. Gremlins don't just stop. She lives with one. She knows.
Until they pass out.
Yeah, exactly. But usually, even then, they shift a bit. Yeah, she is definitely anxious, and she's confident enough in the machine that it can do what it says. It's been tested enough. She is just not confident on if it can do it safely.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what they're testing right now. With all the safety precautions that she put in. And there's probably a little bit of her that's a little nervous on, oh no, did I fuck something up by accident?
There is a distinct part of you, Kaya, that as the stream of information that you were watching and you were kind of getting absorbed in suddenly stops. And you immediately, your head whips back around, you look at the chair. Benghetti's still not moving. You look at the machine, and on the screen, or not on the screen, on the machine, there is like the exit. What is the like a bar that it slowly loads for the exit process? As it is, it's very still. It moves at the speed of 1 click per second. It does not move very quickly, as it's a 10-minute timer, effectively. But you're looking at it, and for a second, you don't think it's moving at all. And you start to wonder, like, did it shut off? Did something go wrong? What's happening? And you just go still for a moment. And ever so imperceptibly, you see the just very, very slight red bar on the machine click up and continue. And that same anxiety of watching what you think is a frozen computer not doing anything, and you're like, oh no. It slowly but surely is still working. It just is slow. Not slower than normal. It's just noticing it, and the sudden rush of anxiety gave you that brief moment of panic of like, maybe something's wrong. But so far so good. Nothing has happened yet. Everything seems to be going okay.
Okay.
And you wait another 5 minutes.
Can
And
she
it is
see
just...
that Benghetti is breathing?
Yes, if you go over and look, like, you can get very, very close to him while he's in the chair. He's totally unconscious. But when you get really, really close to the chair and look, you can see that his mouth is slightly open, and you can watch just very faintly the slight movement up and down of chest movement for breathing. And
Okay.
oh, go ahead.
I'm just okay. Okay, good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is a long wait. It is one of the longer 5 minutes of your life. Few other times were have felt similarly as long, but it passes ever so painfully slowly, and you're sitting there in the dark of the lab. There are lights on, but it's kind of, in Benghetti's own way, there's only so many lights. Most of the lighting comes from the desk lamp, or desk lamps, as he has multiple, like, laboratory desks. So you're kind of huddled by one of those lights looking over at this machine, which it does have a glow to it. There are LEDs to show, like, basically in the same way that a computer will make a post note where it will, like, beep. There are lights to show that the different, like, the different components of the chair will properly activate and are still running. So you'll see LEDs, almost like some massive, like the thing on Darth Vader's chest. like a bigger version of that, there are just very, very faint LEDs that will light up as power goes from one component to the next to continue functioning, to make sure that each piece is still operable.
Mhm.
Let me just say how amused
Um,
I am that fucking Star Wars has become our touchstone for this group. If we need to explain anything, we have to go through Star Wars because it's
Yeah.
the one thing we know everybody has
Yeah.
seen.
This is great. It's the perfect sci-fi analogy machine.
Hell yeah.
But another 2-3 minutes go by, and that final leg of the bar as it loads on the side of the machine, it is just painful watching it click up and then wait and then click up and then wait and then click up, and then eventually it fills and you can hear the machine. Something changes in the nature of how it's running, where at first the kind of dull noise of the fans and the cooling or the coolant parts of it start to power down. And like you hear the dull, constant tone start to fade, and the room grows a lot more silent. And there isn't any sort of disengage, like helmet tool, so there's not like a noise that indicates when you can take the helmet off in any respect. But the light goes off, and Benghetti's still laying there, motionless. He doesn't get up immediately. And just as you start to get this hit of worry in your stomach, like maybe something did go wrong, maybe there's just a slight stir in his movement as he sits up, and both hands immediately animate and reach up and grab the helmet and start to push it back on the swivel, and he lifts it up and off of his head. He looks tired.
Oh man, the visible sigh of fucking relief.
He just like blinks. What do I miss?
You good?
Yeah. It's not like there was anything to do in there. I just kind of looked around and looked at shit. It's kind of boring.
You move all your fingers, your toes, you can stand up.
What? Yeah. And he, almost like it's no big deal, like looks down at his feet. He's still wearing sandals and wiggles his toes. And then moves his hand and wiggles his fingers. Why would I not be able to move my fingers and toes?
I don't... Look, I'm just checking.
He gives you a strange look. It's a bit hard to read, but he he gives you a look and then starts to squirm out of the chair. Man, I don't know how fucking Cosmic did that. It's really fucking boring in there. He did that a lot too. I'm surprised he never told me how fucking boring it was. It's cool, but it's just really boring.
I mean, I think it's more of an attention span thing.
He looks at you and just tilts his head. You think Cosmic has like a broken attention span?
What? No. I think it's like, you know... different?
He just raises an eyebrow. Yeah, well. It works. Pretty sure. What's the machine do? Did you see anything interesting?
You think about Star Wars a lot.
It's because Star Wars is cool.
I mean, it's just like, what? A war movie?
There is a very, just a very blank look on his face as he just stares at you.
What? It's in the fucking
Yes.
name.
Yeah, well, there is war in it, yes, but like it's not the fucking point of Star Wars.
Isn't it like, just fighting some big, war?
Oh,
That's
puts
what
his
the
hands
whole
on his
point
face.
of it is, isn't it?
No, it's not the whole point of it. The whole point is that it
Like-
was like an allegory for Vietnam or something.
That's a war, ain't it?
Yes, it was. He puts his hands on his face again.
Look, it's a war movie, right? It's like, I saw, like, bits and pieces, right? Of what you showed us. It's like, the good guys, small, group fighting against this big evil, like, warlord.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's a
that
fucking
is like-
war movie.
Yeah, but that's not it. That's like fucking. I don't know.
That's the main part of it.
That's not the main part of it.
It's in the fucking name.
Well, yeah, but like, there's
So
other
what's
movies
that?
where the main part of it's not in the fucking name.
Well,
I
see,
just can't think of any right now because I'm too busy fucking thinking about how I could prove you wrong about Star Wars.
I mean, I could prove myself right. If you look at a movie like Moneyball, see, it's got the
You-
main theme of it in the name.
What? Because it's got a money and a ball in it.
Well, it's actually, how baseball is actually revolutionized depending on how people pick
Why
players.
don't they call it Moneyball revolutionized the game?
Well, the money is talking about actually focusing on the numbers, and ball is actually, baseball. So, it's in the name. If you look at something like Star Wars, it's a war in fucking, space and shit.
He just puts, like, he brings his hand to his nose and just rubs his nose. I can't explain Star Wars to you or Lockhart. Neither of you just understand the cultural significance of this movie and how it basically just made everything more. It's fucking.
It's
Like
fucking
his hands are kind of moving and scrambling. He's like clawing for words to use, but finding nothing.
Gaddy, do you want to get some water or something? Like, it was in there for a bit,
I will get water, and he'll walk over to the stairs and start walking downstairs.
And she'll walk with him.
That's how you get Gennady to actually drink his water. You make him mad.
I have so much fun with Kaya being clueless about Star Wars.
You're rapidly
it works
approaching
because-
this point where you're starting to piss me off.
Like, Ben Getty does not have the ability to eloquently explain anything about Star Wars. He just knows he likes it, and he can't really explain all of the nuance to it. But it's important to him. That's what he is able to convey at most.
Yeah. She's not knocking
about
it.
it.
She's like, all I know
Oh, yeah.
about it is that it's like, a war movie. That's about the gist of it, right?
He internalizes that as like a slight. Like, the movie's just about war in space, dude. It's not good or deep. Like, he's taking it personally for no reason.
No, he's taking
But-
it personally because it's Bengetti, and Bengetti takes everything personally.
Everything Kaya does is
Kinda.
a personal slight, apparently.
Only a little.
No, she'll fucking follow him down.
Yeah,
Make sure he gets the water.
he does. He does get water. And just looking at him, giving him an up-down, roll a first aid check.
Oh, I wanted to fucking roll 20 tab like I'd be able to roll.
First aid, that's clever.
Mm-hmm. Clever plus your first aid
Which is 2.
bonus. And do you have any talents that help that?
Unfortunately, Operator and MacGyver are not healers.
Okay, that's fine.
Actually, mortgage report, lender, diamond, fish solution. Nope. None
Okay.
of those apply here, I think.
Just a clever with +2. That's still good. Yeah, that's more than enough. So 13. For the 13, like, just watching Ben Getty get water, Kaya, you did see people get out of the machine in an earlier state. And there was the IV that used to be hooked up to keep them hydrated, and there were bigger parts of the machine that have since been stripped away to make, like, to sort of accommodate a better form factor and better overall construction of the machine, so that there's less poor heat diffusion. And watching Ben Getty move around, he doesn't seem like he has broken out into a bad sweat, so he probably did not lose much water. You also, just seeing him move around, he looks tired, but that is largely because of the amount of time he has spent awake and, like, working. It seems like it would be normal to be tired around this time of night after kind of heavily exerting your brain and working on something. And you kind of noticed, like, just taking quick stock, you are also pretty tired yourself. But the quick assessment you're able to draw is that Ben Getty on the surface seems okay. He does not seem off in any worrisome way. So, by all accounts, it seems like his first foray into the machine is good. Or was good.
Okay, cool. After he drinks water, he must drink at least 3 sips of water.
He fills up a glass of water from the tap and takes like 2 big gulps, and then sees you looking at him, and then takes a 3rd gulp, pulls the glass down, and then just looks and just
She
goes,
nods.
"What?"
Making sure you drink some water. Making sure
He
you're,
looks at the water.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm fine. Like I said, the actual, I guess I kind of built the environment to be extremely simplified. Now I think about it.
Well,
But
if we want to talk about that in a sec, I've got a couple of ideas after I was watching, all the shit.
what were you watching?
Think it was your thoughts, stream of consciousness. But I just want to double check. Like, you were like, you're fine, you're good. Any,
He just
I don't know, bad experience in there?
he blinks and then just shakes his head and just goes, "Nah, man, I didn't fucking see anything. There was nothing to experience, really. Well, sort of. It's I was gonna compare it to a different movie, but you don't fucking know anything about movies. But it
Yeah.
looks like a big empty space, and it just kind of goes in different directions. And there's no walls or anything, there's no sky, it's just kind of like being in a pool, but you're not slow.
So, like, it's as if there's, like, one of the 8.7 glitches in Minecraft where the environment didn't load in, but all the space around it did.
What? I don't fucking play Minecraft.
What the fuck do you mean you don't play Minecraft? You never played it?
No, I don't play any fucking video games.
Minecraft isn't the fucking video game. That's, like, how the fuck you
It's-
not
literally exactly a video game. What the fuck are you on about? What do you think it is?
What the fuck are you on about? It's not just a fucking video game. It kind of revolutionized
Oh,
gaming in
just like
general.
how Star Wars is not just a movie about fucking wars with stars around them.
What? That's not the same thing at all.
It is so the same thing. It is exactly
What?
the same thing, in fact.
No, it's not. Look, Minecraft's Minecraft. Star Wars is, a movie.
Minecraft is a game where you go in a mine and you craft. Doy.
Well, it's part of it, but that's not the only thing
That's
about
what
it.
I'm trying to fucking say about Star Wars. But the point is that the fucking environment is boring as piss and there's nothing there. It's just fucking nothing, a bunch of nothing forever in every direction. But like, you can kind of just be there. So I didn't really have anything to do. I was there for like, I don't know, like a couple minutes.
Right.
I'm gonna have to get bored.
Nah, yeah, that won't take long.
She looked like he hears you make that remark, and there is an instant like head turn and eye narrow, and he doesn't say anything, but you can tell he's holding his tongue, trying to be nice.
She kind of
Takes a
like raises
deep-
her hands a little bit, like in surrender. I'm like, okay.
Just takes a deep inhale through the nose. So, I guess we should fucking connect it to the internet or some shit.
What? No.
Like, there's nothing to see in the environment, so like, why don't we just fucking put it on
Not
something
yet.
cool and like look around? Well, yeah, not yet. It's not connected yet.
Well, no shit. All right. Look, here's the thing. Look, the environment you put in, it's good. It works. Sorta. It's not bad. All right.
He just like leans forward a little bit and then tilts his head to the side, and just goes, "Oh, you gonna say but?"
No.
Okay, then we can connect to the internet.
But there's just a couple of ideas I had on it that maybe, we could implement. Like I said, it's not a, bad interface at all. There's just a couple of things that I think could be better. Well, not better, but, different. A new direction.
Ben Getty has like slouched in the same way that you sort of sink in a chair until you are dribbling off the bottom of the chair and onto the floor. Ben Getty, standing at the sink, seems to deflate and is holding onto the sink to keep himself upright. And there is just a very frustrated grumbling noise, like a frustrated cat.
Getty, you good?
I'm fine.
I feel like that's not true.
I mean,
Like-
it's not like
Just a feeling,
fucking everything's fine.
Sure, you can't talk to me. Like, I'd rather you just, say what's wrong.
Can't fucking talk to you about Star Wars.
Well, I mean, you can.
Or Tron. Or fucking any sci-fi movie.
Well, you can tell me about them. You can teach me about them.
I fucking tried to get you to watch them.
Well, to be fair, I was working on the bracelets at the time.
Ugh.
Oh, wait, look, we can find some time to watch them, and I promise I'll pay attention to them. I'll even take fucking notes on them. All right. I'll dig out my old, note binder. I'll have to move all the redstone shit off of it, but you know what? It doesn't matter. All right.
You play like of all the you don't watch Star Wars, but you play video games.
Well, only Minecraft. The redstone's real cool. You can make a computer in there,
Why would you make a computer in a computer game?
Because you could. If
That's
you know
fucking
how to.
redundant. Just
It's more
use
the,
your
you know,
computer.
It's more that, you know, you do it because you can, see if you can or not. Look, Redstone's real fucking complicated. But there's certain, like, nuance to it once you figure out how you can place it. But you know what? It doesn't fucking matter. If you want, I can show you the fucking Redstone binder I made way back. But look, you can show me all the movies later, alright? Is that what you're upset about? Or is
A
there,
little.
Like,
It's not like I have anything else to be upset about.
is that a lie?
No. He, like, blinks. You can roll a cool check, and I'll give you advantage on this one if you like.
Okay. Can I boost it?
You can boost it. So roll
Hey.
4d6 and take the highest.
4d6?
Because you're boosting it and advantage.
Okay, so I should be able to just... Hold on.
Could you just put, like, was it what, 3 dice and then 1 advantage?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's how you do
See
it.
if it works.
A cool
Mhm.
check, and I assume you don't have anything with your cool.
No. No bonus left. None bonus left beef. Unless. Nah.
Hey, there you go. That is a 12. So, you, like, with all of the stuff that you know about Ben-Gedi, the fact that there are literal copies of Ben-Gedi that have existed and possibly, like, and actually do exist, both in terms of body and mind, and all of the stuff you've learned about, like, how his mind has been tampered with in some capacity, or how he has kind of struggled with knowing how he does certain things. There's a lot of stuff that really could and probably should be on his mind and bother him. But you're looking at him and the guy is unperturbed. He is more annoyed that you dismiss Star Wars so casually than he is preoccupied about any of the clone stuff or any of the memory stuff. You don't get an impression from him that he does not want to talk about them or has aversion to them. You just see that he is unbothered. Minus the shit you said about Star Wars. That is like the most immediate thing on his mind.
Alright. She like, looks at him and just kind of like scratches like the back of her head where the base of her ponytail is. He's like, look, you can show me Star Wars, you know, whenever. But I did have a couple thoughts on the you know, the thing.
The environment?
Yeah,
Okay. Shoot.
cool. She's gonna pull out a notebook. Like, it's just a simple marble notebook.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine she took notes.
When you pull out the notebook, Ben-Gedi fills up his glass of water again, and he will start to walk over, and he stops. And he'll take two steps backwards until he's back at the sink. And he will reach into the sink and pull up another glass. You don't know how long it's been in there, but it's just another water glass that is in there, or at least just a glass that looks vaguely clean from a distance. And he will fill that one up with water. And he will bring Kaya a glass of water too.
Aw.
Growth.
You know what? The gesture is appreciated, though. She's just not thirsty.
Yep, he sets the water down in front of you from the sink, and he has his own.
And she just, like, looks at it. She, like, saw it from the sink. She's like, thanks, Getty. Appreciate it. I imagine she was, like, sitting at, like, the counter, like, on, like, a bar stool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She, like, gestures for him to sit down, pulls out her notebook, puts it out on the table.
He's now completely keyed into the conversation. Like, okay, we're talking about technology improvements now. He has moved past getting
Star
offended
Wars?
by it. And he has also moved past getting offended at Star Wars.
Wait, what did you say before?
He has moved past getting offended. Like, there was an initial frustration of him getting offended, like, another thing I made has to be improved, quotation marks, because he's upset about it. But he has moved past that and also Star Wars. And yeah, and now he is ready to listen and cooperate.
It's funny, that's what she was trying to get him to talk about. The fucking, like, shit, man. Yeah, mad at the improvements, quote unquote. Oh boy. But you know what? Focus time. She can. This is good. You know?
Mhm.
The toddler has to have his tantrum.
Okay, cool. So, like, there's. The environment you had is, like, you know, simple. It works. It does its thing of, like, containing the person's, you know, whatever the fuck you call it. But when I was watching, like, all of the data turn out in text, it's really fucking disorganized.
Well, yeah, it's just kind of like text input reading whatever information it can draw from the subject inside the environment. So it's just kind of a stream of nonsense, really.
Yeah. So I was thinking, what if before we, you know, connected to the internet and shit, if we could try to, like, make the environment into a way that, like, make it easier for the environment to interpret the thoughts? Because, like, when I was, like, looking at all your shit, like, what's that? I don't know what some of those words were. I assume Star Wars because you were talking about it a lot. But, like, some of those words I didn't really recognize. And then it made me think, what if you were thinking of, like, an image? There's no way for the text to convey that, you know?
Yeah, that's true. It's just kind of like, I don't really know what it does if there is an image. I never really thought to ask Cosmic if he thought of, like, a thing. I just looked at what he did think. He shrugs. Yeah, we can add that. We'd probably need to just we'd probably just need to do a new environment, which is not difficult to build. At least not now. Not when we have one to actually like work off of. We could just build it off of mine.
Use it as a base. And essentially, like, rather than having just, like, you know, word vomit, you could just make it easier to organize them. Because, like, you were jumping around between, like, 4 or 5 different topics, but, like, in, like, an almost cycle. From what I could see, at least, it was all going real fucking fast. But, like, if we can get them more organized, we can actually, like, you know, look at a pattern of what you're thinking.
He blinks and then turns his head, and he doesn't like he looks away from you, but this is kind of a thinking gesture. And you can see him kind of furrow his brow and start to tap his leg a little bit. And he nods. Yeah, okay. I kind of thinking about how we could do it. So, if we didn't want to connect it to the internet, we could run a database of our own making through it and just get like really simplified image references of just a fucking bunch of words. And then like connect it to something. And then whenever someone thinks of an image, it would actually like pull up an image rather than just like spit out the word of the image.
Yeah. Man, you know, if only we could just, like... This would honestly be so much easier if we could just put fucking MS Paint in that shit.
He blinks and thinks about it again, and you can see him do that same gesture as he kind of stares into the distance and starts bumping his leg a little bit. Well, maybe you could make some sort of... Well, I could try to map, like, what information is coming from specifically my eye. He points to his fake eye. This is connected to my brain, so I could, like, make it... It would only work for me or for anyone else who has, like, cybernetic eyes, but
You need to start.
I could
with something.
fucking connect it to this shit, and then it could, like, basically be, like, a straight shot to my brain, and then we could map whatever is being transmitted to the optical nerve in my cybernetic.
Yeah, that's a start.
I
we
wonder
can
if
even-
Cosmic has robot eyes. Probably not.
I don't know, man. I mean, I know he's, got eyes, but that's about it.
Ben Getty looks at you as if saying, like, yeah, he's got eyes is one of the dumbest things you could say. And he just, like, duh. Shakes his head.
I was saying the obvious,
Well, whatever. Anyway, yeah, like, that's a thing we could do.
Yeah, that's one thing. We could probably ask Legs about it.
He nods.
To see if she can, type hackish shit. See if she's done anything similar.
Wow, maybe.
Maybe. If
I
anything,
also
it's
want to
another-
see if Cosmic knows, like, anything about hacking from being... Well, if there's, like, a... I don't know. Maybe we could take, like, a VR game and just shoot it into our brain or something. Because this is technically VR equipment that we kind of turned into this. So maybe we could put, like, a game in it.
But what kind of game?
I don't know. There's, like, a fantasy one that came out recently where you get to play as, like, a fucking fantasy character or whatever. And you can, like, do swords and spells and whatever. You know, just video gamey shit.
That sounds cool.
Yeah,
Probably do that.
yeah, he shrugs.
That's got me thinking now. Aren't there, like, I don't know, I've seen ads for, like, simulator games, right? How would that work with, like, some shit like this?
He looks at the stairs as if kind of implying that he's looking back and towards the machine, and squints one eye and raises the other eye's eyebrow, and he just goes, I mean, it would probably work like any video game. You just have to be able to map. Do we know anyone with cybernetic eyes and cybernetic arms and cybernetic legs? And maybe a cybernetic spine?
Not someone we want to talk to.
Because, like, if we just had someone who had all of the cybernetics, we could just map it all to their inputs, which would be really easy. Probably.
I mean, I don't know, and I know that, like, most people got, like, one or two things, I don't know if we know anyone that's got, all of that shit.
I'll fucking post about it online and see if I can't find someone.
What?
What?
Getty, this is, like, just dragging a random into some, like, weird shit.
It's not like we have to tell them what we're gonna do with it. It's just get them in here and then fuck around and make them do stuff and then pay them and then they leave.
Well, yeah, but what if some shit happens? Or what if they figure out what, we're up to, and they believe all the
keep Lockhart here.
Tetsuo is a saint bullshit.
I'll just keep Lockhart here, and if anyone weird tries to do anything, Lockhart will just fucking kill him.
I don't think she'll kill him.
Whatever. He just waves a hand. You know what I mean?
Right. You know, it's like, I don't know. Someone with like a cybernetic lot of shit. She can just like glance around. Her eyes land on Larry for a second.
Then
Her
Getty
eyes
blinks, and like he tries to follow your eyes to Larry.
turns her head away from Larry. She's like, nope, mm-mm. Don't know what would happen. Just like, nope, no.
Well, I mean, no.
What the fuck you think? I mean, no.
No, like, not allowed to post about it online?
What? I wasn't talking about. I mean, yeah, that's what I meant.
He there, and now he like gets his little brow furrow, and he's just like, "What if I want to post about it? This is an easy way to get help. There's lots of people who will do anything for like, I don't know, like $100 or something."
I keep forgetting that, you know, you're not broke like the rest of us.
Well, I'm not like working. I just have a lot of money saved up. It's mostly from my dad, who, well, whatever. He just dismisses the thought.
It is. I thought it'd all be from, you know, your job.
Well, there was also that. But like, my dad left me a lot too. Well, whatever.
Mm. Well, you mind if I, you know, ask you about that?
He blinks, and then, like, tilts his head a little bit. Ask you about my job? Why?
Well, no, not your job. I was more considering all of the shit we've, you know, found. What? I kind of want to ask you more about, you know, your dad. If that's okay.
Like, tilts his head the other way. Why wouldn't it be okay? I mean, you can ask me whatever you want. Can't promise I'll have an answer, but I could definitely at least listen to your question.
Cool. Fair enough. Alright. He left you a bunch of shit? Like, when did
Yeah.
that happen? Was that like, when did he pass?
Well, he starts to think about it for a second. And you can see him, like, he looks away again, and his eyes do that little, like, left-right searching gesture. And he thinks, I don't remember when he died, but I was pretty young, I think. I don't know. I remember going from there and just basically staying in the house for some amount of time. I remember a lot. He shrugs. But yeah, my dad died, I think, when I was like, maybe like 12, I think. I don't really know.
Right. Do you remember anything about, you know, your mom?
Nope. Not a thing. I assume she took care of me. Well, she maybe just dipped when I was like a baby. He shrugs.
Were you always on this like, how long have you been on the station? Like, when did you get here?
All my life, pretty much. I don't remember being on Earth ever, so must have been on the station.
What? Well, you telling me you were one of the first people on the station?
And he blinks and nods. Yes?
Just a quick lore
Why?
check now.
Yeah.
How long has the station, like, because I remember Marcus had said a long ass time ago that, like, his family, his parents and himself were one of the first families founded here.
Correct.
And he is slightly younger than Ben Getty.
Yeah.
And just clarifying here, the first time we had these lines of questioning, I thought he said he had been from Earth.
I don't recall if he said he had been from Earth. But lore check, the Grand Cross
Mhm.
was officially launched in, let me see. So the first stations were completed in the 2040s. And it is 2088 today. Immigration to Grand Cross was made available to the general public in 2071.
So, like, fuck, I can't math.
So basically, Ben Getty is, at least to his knowledge, he is in his 30s.
Mhm.
So technically, he could have been on the station the entire time.
Mhm.
It would mean that he would be, for some reason, involved with someone who was very, very significant in the construction and management of Grand Cross. And
Mhm.
Kaya, being a construction worker of the station and part of like having station infrastructure, you would know that there are technically people who would have been living on Grand Cross during even the early 2030s when it wasn't even complete. They would have basically flown people up here to live as astronauts to work on the station. And it was under construction for basically 10 or 11 years. At which point it was the first station and like the first ward, they were complete and technically livable.
Okay.
And Marcus, you don't know for sure, like, his parents were influential and one of the first families to get on. The general assumption would be like, oh, okay, he probably got on with the first wave made available to the general public, which is basically for people who are very wealthy.
Mhm.
Or not like hyper wealthy, but like, you know, the rich, like doctors, lawyers,
The
public
people that
policy
they
makers.
need to like make the city start working before the public comes.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Okay. Not the people who buy private islands, but the people who, like, own a vacation home or two.
Correct.
Okay.
And Ben Getty, yeah, so like on strictly a technical level, there is a way that Ben Getty could have literally been alive on the station his entire life. It would have not been like a normal living situation. It would be like living on a station that is partially constructed and being worked on nonstop every day for years. But over the course of 2040, it became very, very quickly constructed.
Mhm.
Like, it took a long time to get the station up and, like, started. But once the first ward was in place, it became a lot easier to construct and expand. Because then it turned into a city.
Mhm.
A city with a very specific and strict population and guest list. But a city nonetheless.
Okay. Okay. Kind of just, it's just like looking at him, and she kind of just like tilts her head a bit, and she kind of like examines him. You. Holy shit! What the fuck was that like? Like when you were like, do you remember what the station was like? Way back when it was, not finished.
He tilts his head. I remember. I remember a lot of, like, scientists and shit, like, people running around and, like, working on stuff. It didn't look like it does now, obviously. It looked shittier and less, like, people-y.
Yeah, scaffolding all over the place, probably.
Yeah, and it kind of looked more like a spaceship and less like a place.
Spaceship. So, like,
Yeah.
what ward were you on? Like,
Well, I don't really remember. Probably Voyager.
probably.
Yeah, probably.
Huh.
Yeah, I assume my dad probably had something to do with the, like, construction or some shit of the wards or whatever. And so I was probably in there somewhere with him. And Mum.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There's no fucking way a civilian could have been here that early. So your dad had to have been, really fucking important to the station.
He blinks and kind of shrugs. Okay. I don't really know what my dad did.
You don't know?
Nope. Never
What
learned.
did he- So, like, did he just leave you money? Or, like, did he have, like, I don't know, notes or some shit? I don't know. Old t-shirt? Old tools? Anything?
He thinks about it.
Fucking post-it note?
Yeah. As far as I can remember, everything that I have is either mine that I bought myself or something from my dad. And it was just kind of like, I don't know. He just gestures around his apartment. Or not apartment, but his home. It was just this.
This place? Like, this specific house? Did you buy it, or did you, like, inherit it?
I kind of inherited it. But this is my second house.
Where's your first?
Oh, my first? Technically in Voyager Ward. If it's still there.
Technically.
Yeah. I moved out when I left Tetsuo after a while.
How would it be technically in Voyager Ward? You kind of can't be, in between wards. It's kind of, death.
I don't know. I just know, like, last... I mean, maybe they, like, got rid of it and built something else there? I don't live there anymore.
Alright. You got all your shit when you moved out, though, right?
Yeah, and some of Tetsuo's shit. But obviously, you're not going to tell anybody, right?
Nah, I'm totally gonna just, blab to Tetsuo themselves.
He just narrows his eyes.
Yeah. I mean, what the fuck is a multi-million corporation gonna do without that? She like gestures a CNC machine. I'm sure they only got one on the entire station.
Oh. Well, the point is, it's my CNC machine now.
You say that.
That's because it's true.
Yeah, but like, you're not doing maintenance on it. Like, when was the last time you cleaned out the vacuum hose?
I don't fucking know.
You're supposed
I don't
to
use it
clean
often.
those. You're supposed to clean those out between every 3 uses.
Well, it works fine, even though I haven't
Yeah.
cleaned it out.
That's because I've been fucking cleaning it out.
He just waves a hand dismissively, like, eh.
She fucking scuffs. Look, if you're gonna jack shit from a corporation, at least make it last.
I'll do my best, I guess.
Seriously. Here and then, I'm gonna have to give a once-over to all of this shit. You're probably not taking care of any of it.
I'd do what I fucking... It's fine. It's not like a big deal.
Do you have any idea the kind of shit that could happen without you noticing? The dust buildup? Do you know what happens when dust gets into a fucking motherboard, Getty?
Well, yeah,
Bad
we've
shit.
got a lot of computers.
Yeah, a lot of fucking computers. You want to make sure nothing gets in between any of the resistors. You want shit to short out on you? That's how you get shit to short out on you.
And he just looks at you with a very blasé look. You're acting like a mom.
I'm not acting like a fucking mom. What the fuck? Fuck
You're
you.
acting like such a mom right now.
No, I'm acting like an engineer, alright? There's a
A
fucking
mom
difference.
engineer.
What? No, I'm talking about making sure the equipment stays in good condition so that it's reliable and it lasts for a long fucking time. So you don't want to replace shit. Or you don't want
Okay,
it to bust
Mom.
out on you. I'm not a fucking mom. And wait, we were talking about you. Why the fuck are we talking about me?
Because you are making it, I don't know, you're making a big deal about fucking whatever dust stuff. Or shit.
Dust says the person who freaks out about a speck of dirt on a fucking carpet.
I don't like trekking mud, okay? It irritates me. I walk around without my shoes on, and I don't want to get bits of dirt and stuff on my feet. That's
Yeah,
gross. That's different.
Just imagine dust in the machines as little bits of dirt. You don't
Okay,
want
but the
that shit
machine
there.
doesn't have bare feet.
Same
Throws up his
fucking,
hands.
same fucking principle. You don't want that shit there. You shouldn't. It's like fucking what's it called? Double standard. You can't have a
Double
spotless floor and then
standard?
fucking crusty machines.
Fine, I'll vacuum out my machines or whatever. Or empty the vacuum. Not today. Or tonight.
No, fuck that. Not tonight. Tomorrow, though.
He, like... There's a very non-committal, like, shoulder shrug and nod, like, eh.
We'll go through it tomorrow.
Fine, we'll go through it tomorrow.
Yeah, I can help you with it.
He just sips his water.
Cool, right. Any other fucking I got sidetracked. Fuck, was I talking it right? I was talking about you, your family, where you're from. You know, so you lived in, I guess, your first house was the one you inherited. Is that the same one you, like, grew up in from, like, the very beginning?
He pauses for a second and kind of thinks. I don't think so. That was something that was technically mine because I worked at Tetsuo because it was corporate housing, but it was also like I think my dad also worked at Tetsuo. Can't remember. Probably something like that. And they just gave me the house that they gave him.
Hmm. Did you, like, already live there, or did you have to, like, move into it?
I don't remember moving into it, so I probably just already lived there.
Man, I feel like every time I ask you about this shit, I just end up with more questions.
And he just shrugs. Well, I don't really, I don't have a good answer to that. He, like, shrugs again.
Yeah. And that's kind of the theme in here, you know?
It's probably fine.
I disagree.
Why?
You know, I'm a bit worried about it. Like,
Okay. Why are you worried about it?
about you not remembering shit?
Yeah.
Well, because it's not, like, a universal thing. Like, I understand that you don't worry about it and you don't really care either way. But, like, I care. You know,
I mean,
a little worried about it.
that's cool, I guess. But why do you want to worry about it when you could just not? It's
Well-
not like anything bad's happening.
Well, look, Getty, look, here's the thing. You can't help not worrying about it. I can't help worrying about it. Like, it's not a choice, you know? It's just a thing, and it's just what it is, you know? Can't help it, can't change it. I'm never gonna stop, worrying about shit that affects people I care about. And you can't, like, stop or change whatever's up with, and she, like, gestures towards his head, that's making you not care about shit. It is, just is what it is, you know?
He blinks for a second and then tilts his head back and forth and says, that kind of makes sense. Did you have any more questions about stuff that I might know about?
Maybe. I don't know, man. I was just thinking, like, all of this is connected to you and your family. And I guess I just was curious on, what you do remember about him.
Hmm.
I mean, there's any other little, I don't know, tidbits about him that you remember?
Roll me 2d6.
I wonder, I can type in the text box. Can we see if it can send?
We'll see.
2d6. Boop. I don't think it's sent because I'm not in the Roll20.
Nope.
Alright.
Have you tried re-rolling recently or reloading recently?
No, not recently, but I did a bunch earlier.
Then Iris. Roll 2d6.
Oh, actually, if it's just 2d6, I can do it in the Discord server.
Sure.
Wait, why did I give responsibility to myself? Wait, I didn't think this through.
It's too late.
Hold
I
on a
already
second.
see Amy is typing.
Hold on. We can talk about this. We can negotiate. Average.
7. Perfect. Perfectly balanced.
Right?
Yeah.
Everything is fine.
So Ben Getty like blinks and then like sits back in his chair and he leans back a little bit, just kind of goes, little tidbits that I remember, I guess. I guess I do remember like one thing my dad told me. Kind of a weird memory. It kind of feels more like a dream than a memory, but I remember it as a memory, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I remember like looking at my dad and it was kind of like hard to see his face. But I heard him tell me something like, "It's all for you," or something like that. Either "It's all for you," and then he said something else. And I can't remember. I couldn't really hear the second thing he said. But I always assumed that "It's all for me" was like talking about inheritance. Because obviously he just gestures around. There's a lot of inheritance.
Do you think he might have been talking about something else?
He shakes his head.
Did you ever inherit like any of his old work?
Well, I think so. I think when I was working at Tetsuo, I inherited some of the things that he didn't finish. But,
What were those?
just projects. Stuff like related to cybernetics and making shit work better. Like, other kind of things. It was a whole mishmash of stuff, really.
Anything interesting?
Probably. I don't remember all of it. But, like... Well, I think one of the projects that... I don't know if my dad ever worked on it, but it was a project that I did inherit, so it's kind of inheritance. But that was the project that was all related to, like, mapping my brain and stuff.
Yeah, what the fuck did they even do with that shit?
I don't know. I never saw the end of it. I got fired after that.
So, you just, what, like mapped your brain and then they took it and then fired you?
Well, more precisely, I created an algorithm that mapped my brain. And also mapped my brain and, like, kind of combined it with the pieces that they already had so that there was, like, a full mapping. And then I gave it to them. It took long time. It took a while. This is not as easy as I make it sound. Even though I am really good, it took a couple of months. It's really hard to map someone's brain.
Yeah, I could imagine. I know that, like, you have, like, a thing in there, right?
In where?
Your brain?
A thing? He
Like,
touches his head.
like, your eye. Is there, like, some shit there?
There's like a connection, yeah. But it's not like a thing.
You kept like in the full dive shit. You kept talking about like something missing. So like, were you, I don't know, thinking about like your memories? Is there like a something else?
He just blinks, and as you bring this up, Kaya, you're having a distinct like a sense of deja vu, looking at Ben Getty's face as his face like scrunches for a moment as he is thinking, and then it relaxes, and it scrunches, and then it relaxes, and you can see almost how his his expression would map to those exact moments of like something something something, and then a missing piece, and then a series of thoughts, and then absence. And it's very apparent that he's looking for something and not finding it. And he just shakes his head very slowly after a few seconds. I remember thinking of like, how do you think of like a thing that you can't think of? Do you just think of the idea of not thinking? Or think of nothing?
Well, like, didn't you just do it?
Do what?
That.
Forget something? Or not know something?
No, the like, you know, thinking, and then like nothing, and then thinking. You tell me you didn't know you did that?
No? I don't
You
think I did what you think I did. Did I?
Well, I mean, it's like you were like on track, and then all of a sudden it was like the track was gone, and it was like apparent that there was something gone.
I
But
don't
it was that over and over again.
I don't remember thinking that. I don't think I remember thinking that. I
Do
don't
you
remember.
like? How long do you think it was from the last time you spoke? Like,
Wait, what do you mean? How long was it from the last time I spoke?
it was like you paused for like a good like 30 seconds while you did the, you know, think, go on thing.
I think a few seconds? He scratches his head.
Yeah, look,
Probably not 30.
Nah, it's a lot longer than you thought it was. You see why I'm a little, you know, concerned about this shit?
There's a pause, and he blinks. And you can see like him start to shake his head no, and then he stops. But he doesn't. He's about to start, and then he doesn't. Just goes, I guess I see your point. But I feel fine. You know. He shrugs.
Yeah, I know you don't like understand it, but like, it's kind of worrying to see like, I don't know, someone's like reset button get pressed a couple of times.
If I was having my reset button pressed, then how would I remember like technology and shit? Wouldn't all of it reset?
Well, I was more so talking like, you know, is that a metaphor?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's some shit like that. Well, I was talking more like your train of thought got reset. You know?
Eh, I guess. I can't really tell you when my train of thought gets reset because I just am
Yeah.
thinking about stuff.
Well, I don't even know if it's like actually reset. There's just like something fucking weird going on. And like it's happened before.
When?
The bar. I'm pretty sure I saw that happen.
Did you?
Well, yeah, I didn't like mention it at the time. You seemed pretty upset about some shit. So I wasn't gonna like start asking you about it like now, you know?
He just shrugs. I don't remember being reset.
Well, not like
But,
reset. It's just like, I don't know, like a facial tick.
I guess if you see it again, let me know. And he's just kind of he shrugs in this very unusual extension of an olive branch of like, I don't recognize it, but if you do, you can tell me.
I mean, I'll take what I can get, you know? I'll point it out to you. I don't know exactly what it means. But I
Cool.
just know I don't really like it. It's kind of concerning.
There's like a lot of stuff that everyone seems to be concerned about.
Yeah, just like there's a lot of shit you don't seem to be concerned about.
He pauses to think about that for a minute and consider that he seems unconcerned while everyone else seems very concerned. That's a good point. Weird.
Yeah.
Should I be more concerned?
Probably.
How do I do that?
I don't know how to explain it to you. It's kind of just, you know, an emotion. And I'm pretty sure that they did something to your brain to make you not concerned about shit.
Okay,
But I mean,
but who is they?
fucking, who the fuck do you think?
I don't know.
You know, the fucking,
Tetsuo?
yeah,
Joseph Diego?
probably. Mm, you know, all the Tetsuo bullshit.
Yeah, there's a lot of bullshit, but like, I don't know. Why me?
Well, apparently you were important enough to be on the station your whole life.
Well, at least my dad was.
Yeah. But, you know, you inherited everything from... So, like, there's a connection there. I don't know. There's some shit going on there.
Some shit. He shrugs. I guess. I mean, if my dad's so important, why isn't he like famous or some shit?
Hmm. Maybe he was, you know, like, you... I don't know. I don't know.
He just blinks.
No further comment.
He'll drink the rest of his water, and then he will take your full glass of water and then take it back to the sink. And he sets both down in the sink after dumping yours out.
So, like, do you ever wash those?
What? Well, it's just water. That's basically washed.
You realize that, like, water can contain bacteria?
Not if it's clean, right?
No, there's fucking microbes in the air and shit. And if things are left out for more than 4 hours, between like 40 to 140 degrees, a lot of bacteria can build up.
He just looks very flat and then takes both glasses and puts them in the dishwasher. But he doesn't look happy about it.
Like, yeah, a lot of shit can just, build up in water like that.
Okay. Are you staying the night here?
Fuck, what time is it?
It is, at this point in time, probably like 12:30.
Would you mind? Because it's pretty fucking late.
Nah, just sleep wherever. And he just shrugs. There's still like a blanket and pillow and everything thrown out onto the couch from the last time somebody had stayed over.
Cool. Oh. Fuck, one last thing.
What?
Okay. She's like gonna like walk over to him. Okay, so I had an idea for some shit. You remember the Larry's, multiple?
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
whatever happened to them?
I still got them.
Cool.
I've been trying to figure out what to do with them because the consciousness, the sentient things,
Yeah.
and I got an idea for putting them in like little mini drones,
Okay.
and I had a couple of designs of them, and I want to run them by you first, like fresh pair of eyes if you see anything wrong with them or any like things that could be repositioned or designed better.
Okay. Sure. I'll do whatever I guess I can to contribute to the Larry swarm. Larry
Well-
looks like kind of uncertain about it, but also like interested in the conversation.
Like, look, they're not all like Larry's Larry, right? There's only one in, so like they're all gonna have their own like names, personalities, and shit. I gotta talk to them all. I want to like get a basis of a couple of designs for them, because I don't want them to be in the little box forever. I want to get them out and about, like as soon as possible.
He blinks and nods.
And like right now, the Larry Swarm is built off of perf boards and ISP modules, which can't really house an AI. At least not for long term. It'd probably burn
Okay.
out, honestly.
Sure. Do you need help like making a bunch of them or whatever?
Probably to help speed up the process.
Alright. That's easy enough.
Yeah, cool. That's it, I think. That's all I got.
Cool. Okay. Well, I guess tomorrow we'll make drones.
I haven't made a drone in a hot fucking minute, man. I probably shouldn't stop this conversation because then I'll just talk about it for like a couple of hours. About this last drone I made.
Last drone you made?
Well, yeah. Like I got a day job.
Oh. Odd. Well, I kind of assumed that, but I never really thought about it.
Well, like, it's different from, like, my last job. Well, like, right now I'm a drone maker and repair and operator. But, like, previously it was, maintenance. And, I worked on the solar panels.
He nods.
Yeah.
And what did the drone do?
Oh, well, the last one I made was, like, this lady's kitchen drone.
A kitchen drone? Like a
Yeah.
cooking drone?
Well, like, not exactly. It didn't cook itself. She wanted, like, essentially, like, a walk-in, like, KitchenAid. Like a flying KitchenAid stand mixer. But, like, to also, like, have a blender attachment to it. It was a bit odd. And it was really tricky on, like, getting the power conversions for a KitchenAid versus, like, a Ninja blender. Plus, she wanted to use her own shit rather than making a new one. But, that's a long fucking story. I can tell you about it tomorrow. I've actually got the designs in that book. We can go over it while we look over all the other shit I did for like the little mini ones we're making.
Okay, sure. And he just shrugs.
Okay, cool.
Hmm.
She's gonna fucking look around, look towards the couch, start walking to it, take a step, pause, turn back to him. You're not touching that shit anymore tonight, right?
What? The machine?
Yeah.
Cross my heart. And he does a little gesture crossing his heart.
I don't know if I believe that, honestly.
No, fucking... I don't know how to prove you otherwise.
You promise you won't fuck with it?
Yeah, fucking promise. I can't, like, take off my nervous system and, like, give it to you or whatever, but, like, I'm not gonna go in the chair or whatever. Like I said, it was boring. There's nothing to do in there.
Okay, cool. She's gonna fucking clap on the shoulder. Night.
He gives you a thumbs up, and he will head off to bed as well.
She's gonna text Legacy, crashing at Bengetti's. Because she knows Legacy's still awake.
Mm-hmm.
It's only 12:30, of course she's awake.
Does Legacy reply?
Hmm? Oh, I didn't know you guys were wanting a reply. Probably not. She knew that she was going to... Honestly, Legacy just assumes if Kaya's going to Bengetti's, Kaya is gone for a while.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. Then, with that end, we will transition to the end of the week. And Lockhart, you would awaken feeling like shit, awake. Kaya would wake up at Bengetti's, ready to craft drones or do whatever other projects come to mind. And Legacy, you can be wherever you like if you have any other things you want to work on, like viruses, stuff that you wanted to build, or arranging schemes with the Roundtable hackers.
Other than personal shit, all Legacy's got now is waiting for these other fuckers to finish what they're doing to get her stuff.
Mm-hmm. You would have... So, you would hear at some point, Lockhart, you would have tried... You would have had Marcus try to contact you, because he wanted to get in some more training. Would you have replied to it at all, or probably not? In the following day.
Following day, yeah, no. She would basically say she can't, got something busy going on today, or I'm busy today. Do some laps, something akin to that,
Send him like a structured list and end it with, I will know if you don't do these.
Very threatening. So basically just sort of dismiss that he is not able. You just dismiss it and be like, I'm not able to meet. Can't really do it. Sorry, busy.
Yeah.
That's sort of what I figured. And at that point, Marcus, sometime while talking to you, Legacy, would have brought up like, Hey, what's up with Lockhart? She seems to be busy lately. What is she busy with? Do you know? Have you heard from her?
Freaking Legacy doesn't know shit. These people don't tell. Kaya does sometimes, but everybody else doesn't tell Legacy shit. she honestly just got like look at Marcus and just be like, very much that like, are you serious expression.
Look, I thought I'd ask. She's like
You're the one
sort
who hangs
of
out with her all
an
the time.
honorary. Okay, it's sort of training. It's not just like casual hanging out. It's like official training.
Tomato, same thing. You're the one around her all the time.
Well, it is true, but she's also kind of like a, well, part of the group at large. But I always kind of assumed that she and Cosmic were kind of honorary roommates.
Roommates who? Me?
Yeah, basically. Because Ben-Getty lives alone, so they can't be roommates with Ben-Getty.
Well, honestly, she's more of a fucking roommate with Ben-Getty, to be honest. She's about the only person he tolerates to be there for like longer than like 2 or 3 days. Well, Kaya's getting close. Plus, I'm pretty sure I annoy the fuck out of her.
Well, she hasn't mentioned you annoying her at all. But then again, she doesn't really mention
Anything?
a lot of other people in general. No, she mentions stuff occasionally. Usually advice on physical things. Sometimes, yes. But
like, so
that's
just,
why
like,
it's not...
gestured this like, see?
It's not hanging out, it's training. So it makes sense that she would only mention more laps. Or non-personal matters.
I don't know that she knows how to be social outside of punching people. I think you are the most social she gets with anybody. Because honestly, I think she thinks of Ben-Getty as like a cat. Very ornery cat that she has to take care of.
Now that you mention it, he is kind of like a cat. In like a nice way.
You don't have to be nice when he's not around.
No, but he's... Well, he's not nice. He's definitely not nice. But he's not a cat like a bad cat. He's a cat that is just very particular, I guess.
Also, there is something we probably need to talk about, because I kind of fucked it up for you.
Oh no.
What was that about you going to a fucking Ripper Doc?
So speaking of Ben-Getty, ha 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 ha. He does very impotent finger guns. Well, I sort of had an idea about how I could augment my implants. And he gestures and holds out his arms. And the augment would require a little bit of extra musculature to properly work. So I was going to get it installed because I wanted to be more useful. to sort of help with the training thing. But I haven't rescheduled with the River Dock since I've canceled. So
You don't have to like defend yourself. I just surprised you, and you surprised me, and it was. Oh, it was very. Yeah. The adrenaline was still pretty high. You know that you don't have to be. Well, this is gonna sound very bad. Don't take it as face value. You don't have to be useful. You don't have to, like, go searching. You, like, yo, that's not why I, like, gave you my phone number, right?
Well, sure. I mean, sure as in I agree and understand. But
You already have mixed feelings about your arms.
he looks at his arms and just kind of flexes his hands and makes fists and opens his hands again. Yeah, I know.
I don't want you to. How do I phrase this? Legacy is just like very clearly trying to be more careful about her word vomit than she usually is. Like, if this is something you really want to do, and it's going to make you happier or more comfortable or whatever, go for it. I've never said anything against modding, but if this is just because you feel like you have to in some way, I don't want you to end up. How do I say this? How do I say this? Choosing to do this and then being unhappy with it, and then I don't know, feeling like you need to blame yourself or me or anybody else for making you feel like you had to.
I don't know if it was exactly that or not, but I can tell you that maybe for better or for worse, it was my decision, but it definitely had a little bit of fuel from a place that might not be good. I guess I had a fear that I wouldn't be able to help in some way. I mean, how am I going to contribute to this rebel cause if I can't, use my cybernetics knowledge at it? And even then, training with Lockhart is difficult. And in a weird way, I figured, I guess I could buy more mods and make it a little bit easier. But maybe that is a bit misguided too. Trying to buy my way to the finish line.
You training with Lockhart, I understand, but I don't know what happened with her, but she is... That woman went toe-to-toe for a round or two with a fucking murder bot. I don't know that she is fully human, if we're gonna be honest here. So, I don't compare yourself to her. The amount of shit she has probably had to go through and do to do what she does, to try and be like that, I don't know that you would be you anymore.
Yeah, and I think you're right.
And Legacy will kind of like... I imagine they're like probably like sitting at a table or something, kind of like talking like across a table. And she will like get up and kind of scooch her chair around so she's sitting like, rather than across from him, like catty corner to him, so she's like closer. Look, again, if you want to do this and you think it's something that, or something similar even, do a different type of mod, fucking go for it. Go for the hills. I have modded the shit out of this. And she like jiggles her mechanical arm to make it me. Because what I had was not me. And I know you don't always feel like these are you. Even if you made them. But don't... Make sure it's something that you actually want. Something that feels right for you. Don't go chasing some dream of becoming a replica of Lockhart, or feeling like you can... I don't know. Don't think... Again, do you know why? Do you know why I left my number with you? Why I said yes to that date? Why I keep saying yes to the dates?
He blinks for a second and like avoids looking at you for a second, scratches the back of his head and looks around, just kind of up, down, and left and right, just goes, because you think I'm cute?
Yeah, I mean, that's a bonus, yes. But no, not the main reason. It's probably a little bit more than cute.
He blushes a little bit and says, is it because I know about cybernetics? And can appreciate your craftsmanship?
Well, I mean, that was a good conversation starter. But no, it's because you, yes, have the brains, which, frankly, much better than the looks. Brains always much, much hotter. But you're nice. You're sweet. You have the brains to keep up with a conversation, but more than just keep up with the conversation, you actually fucking listen. Kaya can listen, but half the time I'm pretty sure Kaya just like is nodding along and not actually paying attention to what I'm saying, but you actually try to listen.
He smiles, and there's like a nod that is... It's an acknowledgement that he is conceding, like, yeah, you know what, you're right. I think listening... I think you're right about your assessment. But he doesn't say anything.
So, like, between us, I don't give a fuck what you do. Well, I mean, short of you somehow become a Tetsuo spy and start murdering people I like, then we're gonna have a problem. But,
No, I don't think that'll happen.
see, we're good. So, between us, we're fine. You don't have to do anything else. I am happy with you as you are. With everything else, if you think the only thing you can contribute is a little bit of extra muscle, and you genuinely want to do that, want being the key word, go for the augmentation. Or hell, we can design something else. Again, benefit of these fucked up arms that we have is that the only limit is the imagination and time. Especially now that we got Binghetti's nifty little lab.
Where did he get all of that stuff, by the way?
I am honestly not sure that we want to know, because that's probably just another can of worms.
He just nods slowly while, like, kind of staring into the middle distance, being like, that is probably super illegal. And he shakes his head.
Well, I mean, considering the tech that we met him through, oh yeah, definitely illegal. But
Good.
just, again, I want you to think about it and not just knee-jerk get this. And I'm still putting a flashlight in one of your fingers.
Can it be my left hand? That way I can, like, use my right hand for whatever. Because I'm right-handed.
Yeah, that's not that hard.
Okay, good. I don't know if you had already decided on a finger, or if I got to choose, or if you came with, like, a perfectly pinky-sized flashlight.
Well, I mean, if I came with anything that was perfectly pinky sized, it would be my pinky, and then it just wouldn't fit.
He holds up his pinky and then holds his pinky out to your pinky, and there is a sizable difference. He has big hands. Despite them being fake, they are appropriately sized to him.
They're proportionate.
And very big. Yeah. And his proportions are just, he is just a much bigger person than Legacy, and he just, like, nods like, yeah, that'd be a very unusually small pinky on me.
See? I may not have the fancy cybernetics degree and shit, but I do know a thing or two.
Degrees just, it's just a fucking fancy pedigree. I got a fancy degree from a fancy college because my parents are pretty well off and they could pay for it. Not to say that I didn't bust my ass to get that degree. God, I think I only slept for half of the time that I was in school, as opposed to once every other night. But I could have gotten that degree from any school, and all the knowledge I gained, I mean, he gestures to your arm. He just goes, you don't need a fancy degree.
Oh,
I just have one because my parents are rich and half white.
You don't know the fucking number of arms I went through to get to this one. So many. So many. I don't want to change the topic necessarily, because this is something that we needed to talk about. But you said your parents were one of the first in Foundation, right?
Yeah, basically.
What do they do? Do I have to be scared of them?
Well, no. You don't have to be scared of my parents. My parents are not scary. anyway. They are very, very polite and kind of annoyingly stereotypical. In like a nice way. But, well, my mom was brought on because she was part of the development team for the gravitation ring that's used on the station, which is why the station doesn't have to spin. And she works in Foundation because part of the station development committee is a scientifics branch, and so she works there. They also kind of head maintenance and development on the station, and kind of have headed it for a while. My dad, he also works in Foundation, but he works for the agricultural committee.
Oh god.
And, well, wait. Oh god, why?
Oh, I think your dad might be my brother's boss.
Does your brother work in the agricultural center at all?
Yes.
Then my dad is your brother's boss because he is the head of the agricultural committee.
Oh.
But he's really nice. I hear he's a good boss,
I mean,
if that means anything.
Lachlan has not complained. So, yay. He's gonna give me shit, though. No, I'm not gonna think about that. We're just gonna, nope.
But, yeah, that would be why my family got invited to the station a lot earlier. Mostly because they could provably show that they could help with the development of the station.
If they're still in Foundation and on the ag ring and everything trying to help out, then well, they've set up a pretty good track record of doing exactly that.
Yeah, there's some ups and downs. They get so swamped with making the station better and more Earth-like and long-term sustainable, but they're not able to help with the actual governing. And that is something they're both very concerned about, but they're not in policy making, and so they can't really push into that sphere. They're both sort of heavy in the scientist division. Well, Dad kind of moved out of it, but he's still, well, people don't give agricultural the kind of recognition it deserves.
They're responsible for both our food and our booze. So yeah.
He does like a hand gesture, like, exactly.
You can see where the pressure came from, though.
The pressure to do well in school, or the pressure to do well post-school?
Both.
He nods, and there is a look of distant pain in his eyes that you can see.
Pat
Of
on
years,
the arm.
years of pressure from the parents to perform well. Legacy at this point, you would also know that Marcus is an only child.
Mhm.
So the expectations from the parents are very high.
Just pat on the arm. Yeah. kind of sorry about fucking that up for you.
Well, if nothing else, it's not your fault that Tetsuo turned out to be evil, and I just didn't really think about it from any sort of ideological standpoint. I just kind of wanted to go for one of the bigger companies in the world. Oops. And he just shrugs. Maybe they'll understand. I mean, they're both scientists, and I mean, maybe it'll go over well. Explaining to them that Tetsuo is actually a sort of huge privatized military criminal entity that has an egomaniacal CEO who created
I don't
carbon
think you
duplicates of
need
himself.
I don't think you necessarily need to explain it to them. But we'll just hope that whatever we can manage to do, will sway their opinion naturally. And if not, then you just dangle the fact that you're fucking dating a hacker, and I'm sure that'll distract them. Disappoint them in a very different way, but distract them.
He opens his mouth and holds up a hand to comment on something, and then just slowly lowers his hand back down and closes his mouth. So I do have two things. The first thing is a little bit easier to take care of in the moment, sort of. When should we meet each other's parents?
You gotta survive Sprite first. Then we can talk about my
Sprite?
parents.
Survive Sprite. Who's Sprite?
Sprite is yep, nope, definitely my oldest friend.
Okay. That doesn't sound bad.
I met them when I was in the hospital. They were in the hospital too. And I'm pretty sure we terrorized our neighborhood. I'm surprised we didn't get thrown in jail a few times.
His eyebrows go up and he starts nodding slowly. And there is, in the physicalness of the gesture, it is like, oh, okay, I understand. But there is a layer underneath it that is almost panic. So
Anyway, Sprite now is
isn't in jail?
No. Exact
Okay.
opposite, in fact. Does doubles down as a musician and a bouncer.
Okay.
Don't. So,
Are you gonna say not to freak out?
well, no. I don't think you're gonna freak out. Just don't underestimate Sprite when you meet them. Also, keep an eye on their hands.
He just
fight.
blinks.
They fight dirty. I've seen them fight. They're my
What is-
size, but they could probably figure out how to throw you.
Why would they fight me?
Because they're bored.
He just blinks in disbelief.
You know how I hack shit because I'm bored? They pick fights because they're bored.
So, is Sprite easier than meeting your family? Or is it just I have
Physically,
to get
no,
through the-
but mentally, yes. Because Sprite is predisposed to like you. Because they know about all this shit. My
When
mother
you
and
say
father
all-
will never know about this shit.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Amy. Hi, Amy.
And she's back. Marcus just blinks and says, "So when you say know all about this shit, do you mean like he pantomimes fighting maneuvers, gun maneuvers? He gestures around like his head."
Yep. I told them everything. I don't know fully what Sprite remembers because we were drinking, but I would assume at least a solid 80 to 90% of it.
Good. Okay. I feel like I should have more questions, but I don't.
Yeah. If you survive Sprite, then we can talk about my parents. My dad and mom will probably love you because you are about as close to a Boy Scout as I have ever dated.
You mean that as a compliment, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Lachlan,
that's good.
less so, especially once he finds out your last name.
Because...
Because if this ends
yeah.
badly, there's the theoretical turn of events that'll make your dad not like him.
Well, I mean, what are the odds that your brother interacts with my dad every day? My dad, I mean, he's kind of the head of the agricultural division, or the agricultural committee. So, well, what does your brother do?
Engineer, ag engineer.
Okay, so the odds are definitely up there.
Yep.
Okay. Well, maybe my dad is less strict with employees than he was with me.
We can hope.
We can hope. Oh,
the other thing?
So, the other thing. And he scoots in his chair and sort of turns so he is kind of shifting to face you more. And the gesture is he's already close to you. But the movement and the gesture is more of a gesture of okay, I'm getting ready to talk about a serious thing now. And he is taking the position as conversation leader for a moment. At least that's what you get from the vibe of what he's trying to do with the movement of scooting the chair. He turns to face you and he says, we've been through a lot, and it has been a staggeringly short amount of time for us to have been through as much as we have been through. And I say us, I really mean just you and I individually, but also us together. And I don't want this to come off as anything less than, or anything more than just my concern for you as a person. So please don't take it I guess I'm trying to dissuade you of anything. I just want to tell you my objective understanding of where everything kind of is right now.
Are you breaking up with me?
What? No. No. Unless you want to break up, in which case Okay. Oh. No, not breaking up. It's a lot easier than breaking up, I think. breaking up would not be easy. But what I want to say is this whole thing with Tetsuo. I think what you've done so far and what you've started is noble in a way. I don't know if that is the perfect word for it, but that's what I'm going to go with for now. It's noble. And I think what you're doing is just incredible. But I want you to know that you don't have to be the one to do it. You've been through a lot. You know that, right? That you don't have to do this, I guess, if it feels like too much almost. If you feel like you can, good. And if you feel like you're able to, and you still feel passionate about it, then great. If your capability and your desire meet in that way and you're able to continue this, I think you should. But if you need to step away because things have become too, I don't know, maybe if things have become too strained, or if maybe you feel like your mental health is kind of suffering, you don't have to do this fight. There are other people who are able to and will continue fighting. Like myself included, but I guess I want to support you with what you're doing and also support you if you need to take a break.
Legacy is kind of watching him and listening, and you could see the moments where she started to quip and actually like physically put her hand or her fingers like on her mouth to keep herself from talking. And the longer he talks, at first there is a cold kind of like go blank expression, and then she stops herself and shakes her head and she kind of looks away from him. But there's a little bit of anger instead. Not at him, just anger. And
He goes quiet and is just like watching your reaction now, totally giving you the microphone, and also like very, very nervous.
And she just kind of jaw kind of goes side to side for a moment, and she shakes her head very slowly. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it, but I am not, for all of my eccentricities, I guess you could say, a superstitious woman, but in some ways, this, and she's kind of like gestures vaguely around, feels about as fucking close to fate as you can get. I don't know how I survived that attack when I was a kid. A lot of other people didn't. But that made me need to do something. And in some ways, I wonder if I was the one that made it, because I was the only one that could do anything. And she's like saying this, she's like very clearly struggling to like put it into words, but she is trying. I'm not gonna lie. I think you deserve that. Am I tired? I'm exhausted. Am I scared? All the fucking time. But I've been like that since I got to this station. I have to see this through as far as I possibly can, because if I don't, feels like all of this was not worth anything. If I don't, and I find out something happens, something goes wrong, and it's something I could have helped with, I won't survive that. I am one of the best fucking hackers on this station. I have to do this.
You can see him gulp and nod, and there is nervousness, but also like a resolute acceptance of basically recognizing the conviction that you have shown, and he doesn't tell you no. And he won't. Okay.
And you know that you don't have to do anything else if you don't want to, right?
I think it is only fair that I am just as honest with you as you are with me. I don't think I could ever go back to my day-to-day life after knowing what I know now. I am way too into some sci-fi nightmare shit that if I were to just wake up and go back to a Monday to Friday job, I mean, I don't know how I would function. I mean, my parents have this image of me in, I don't know, the next couple years of, like, finding a home and marrying someone and settling down and having a family and having that become, like, what I focus on. And they get to be grandparents, and then, you have your once or twice a year vacation, and it is nice. But I couldn't do those things if I tried now. Not without standing up for something at this point. There's too much that I think I could help with.
Lacey will just kind of like take his hand and nodding. She understands. What we have, I want you to know it's not about everything else. When we met, I didn't know anything about any of this. I found out pretty much about the same time you did.
Looks a little surprised, and then nods.
I mean, I did go running through the sewers the night before, but that was the only advanced warning I had. You've been on this ride since the beginning, to be honest.
And you went in the sewers looking for mole people?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I was still following the chain of events properly.
There was somebody that was offering some money if I could find pictures of mole people, and I figured, I need money, and if there does happen to be mole people, I want to know about them too. I didn't actually really expect to find much anything, but, found something worse than mole people.
Marcus just nods, and there is like a very soft twitch of a smile at his lips as he was just like, just the absurdity of the entire situation just falls on him, and he's like, you went online, found a stranger who wanted pictures of mole people from a space station, and you were compelled by some amount of money to actually give it a shot, and it just so happened to kick off this different insane chain of events.
Yeah, the crazy he is dating. And she's smiling too at this point. She recognizes this is insane bullshit. And she just kind of gives his hand a little squeeze. I know you have to kind of stay where you're at with Tetsuo for now, at least. But I have a thought.
Oh?
It may not necessarily make your parents super, super happy, but it might make you happier in the long run. Later, at least.
Okay.
If we do end up getting you to meet my parents at some point, and you and my mom get along, which I'm sure you will. She's very nice, very overprotective, but very nice. She runs a clinic for those that can't really get to the hospitals. She could probably use a cybernetics person.
Huh.
A massive pay cut. But luckily for you, your girlfriend does have a room.
So I could be an honorary roommate?
Yes.
I would be forever in your debt if you would be willing to do that for me. If your mom would be willing to do that for me.
All we gotta wave is that fancy degree in front of her face and say that you're willing to work for her. She'll say yes. See, that funny pedigree does actually have a few benefits. If
It does get
something
me
that
a lot
you're-
of clout. It does get me a lot of clout with other parents.
Again, I know it's not exactly what you're wanting to do, but would be helping people.
I think what I want to do is starting to change. So I could take helping people as a career shift. And pay cut schmay cut, I don't have student debt. At least not much anymore.
Benefit of fancy parents.
Benefit of fancy parents.
No, that does I need to reverse the question back to you that you asked me a second ago. Are you taking your
when are-
criminal girlfriend to meet your parents at any point?
Well, I think I think you would make a very strong impression on them, and I think, at the very least, my mother would respect your intellect. And, well, Dad will like you if you just have to be a little bit gruff with him. He's easy to please, to be honest. It's Mom that I'm worried about. She has very, very high standards. But not standards that I think you couldn't meet.
Especially if we just focus on the white hat hacking, right?
I think they would be impressed if you told them the whole other thing and were to divulge the whole other side of your life and exploits. But I think they might also be afraid and concerned. So maybe just the white hat hacking part is good for them. For now.
Legacy is 100% looks amused through that. Just nodding. Cybersecurity expert? It is then.
So how, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is Sprite compared to, say, Kaya?
How do I explain Sprite? Well, you know how nervous Kaya makes you, and don't lie and say that she doesn't. I know how to read your face at this point.
It has gotten better. Kaya is not intentionally being threatening to me. She is just casually threatening, kind of.
It's never intentional. I have thrown her at so many people, and she's not realized it.
I don't think she understands how tall she is.
She really doesn't. Until it's time to reach the top shelf. Then she 100% understands and takes great joy at times of putting things up there out of my reach. Like I'm not just gonna climb on the fridge. But, anyway. You know how nervous she, especially like early on. Yeah, imagine that being actually actionable in a package that is my size and my level of crazy.
Just nods, very slowly.
But again, at least they already kind of like you. And if it's any relief, I think they're a little bit more intrigued by Lockhart. They're just going to do the you've heard the term shovel talk, right?
No. Should I have?
You know where that like siblings or friends threaten the new boyfriend or girlfriend.
Oh.
Yeah. Pretty sure Sprite's gonna try that. If she's too bad, just give me a look and I will save you. I will spray her in the face with air freshener.
Uh, he puts his hand on his mouth,
It's a long story.
waits for like a reset. I will do my best, and I will look to you if I need an escape. But it'll go fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, you just have to deal with it once, and then I'm sure they will be more than happy to hang out and have drinks whenever. That's also a good. Bribing them with tequila works wonders.
While I could bribe them with tequila, I would be more worried that they would get tequila, and from the descriptions, it doesn't sound like this person having tequila would be a good idea to be around. No offense to you or them.
Well, it depends on their mood, because sometimes it just makes them flirty, and then it'll be probably Kaya's problem.
Nodding very slowly.
If you can get them to the ground, you can sit on them, because again, they're my size. They're like 3 inches taller.
If I
actually
can get them to
managed
the
to get-
ground.
Like a 5 foot. It's rather sad.
And they are actively a bouncer?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if they currently are anymore. They've gotten big enough that they're going to be at Gigadeath.
When you say big enough, do you mean, and he like gestures like
No,
with muscle?
their music has gotten noticed.
Okay, cool.
They're still, and she will stand up and kind of look up and like raise a hand and measure and then find the right height and nod.
Okay. Cool. Okay, but still a bouncer. Gotta keep that in mind. Bouncer to musician. I'll just try to talk. I'll talk music. I know music.
Yep. I actually need to see when their next show is. Maybe that if we can ever get everybody to break away from their various shenanigans. Fun night out. Or, well, I would say fun night out for everybody to, in case they notice me in the crowd. So it's not just you. Otherwise, date.
Otherwise, date. Okay. I'm okay with this. And just as he finishes his thought, there's a little blip on your phone. And Kaya, you will also get this message. There is a group text that you are all a part of, if you recall, that has you and It has you, Lockhart, etc., everyone, Marcus in it, and Ben Getty. Ben Getty has sent a text that says, apparently Lockhart's at Veloska's and she looks like shit.
And Legacy sees that, blinks, and motions to her arm. Well, there is the answer to that question. She was out picking a fight.
Why would she not bring me? This is like the whole point of the training, isn't it?
I thought you were my bodyguard, not hers.
Well, not her bodyguard, but like, backup. Kinda. And he looks at Legacy. He looks at you, Legacy, and just the look in his eyes is very much like it is a pleading look of like, can we go check on her?
And Legacy looks at him, makes a face, and like points at him. You are buying me a fucking shake before we go.
Do you want it cosmic sized?
I think that's too much for me.
He nods. I will buy you a shake. That's it. Cosmic's also in this group chat, is he not?
Yep.
Yeah. It's the squad.
It's literally everybody, like all of the major players.
Yeah.
Can you even
The only
drink
person
a,
who's
can
not
you
in
even
it
drink
is
a cosmic
Veloska.
shake?
Sorry.
Wait, who do what with a cosmic shake?
She's like, I just thought of that. Like, Legacy would just be like looking at Marcus as they were leaving, like, could you even drink a cosmic shake?
No. No. What are you saying, Amy?
Oh, I was saying, I'm pretty sure the only person who's not in the group chat is Veloska, and that's because he left it.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Veloska. So, what transpired, and I did not ask your permission for this, Lockhart, and the reason being is Veloska told Ben Getty without asking you for permission. And Ben Getty told everyone because Ben Getty wouldn't bother to ask for permission.
Ben Getty
Fucking
is
snitch.
Ben Getty is the only person that Lockhart has as like the closest thing to an emergency contact other than Veloska. And Veloska's like, I already know. So the only other person that has to know is Ben Getty.
She's
Yes.
not dead, so there's no need to contact the emergency contact.
He literally sent a message to Ben Getty, and he just goes, Lockhart's here with some random guy, and she's fucked up. All to hell. And that's basically it. He just sent that like a very straightforward text, like Lockhart showed up and she looks like shit. The end. And then Ben Getty's like, as soon as he got that, he thought about it for a second, he's like, I'm just gonna tell everyone.
Did he respond to Veloska, or did he just immediately group chat?
He just immediately group chat.
So
Fucker.
is Ben Getty accompanying Kaya as she grabs the go bag and walks out the door? Or is Ben Getty hiding in his lab?
Did Benkity even verbally tell Kaya? They're fucking together right now. Or did he just straight up group chat?
Nope, just group chat.
Straight up group chat.
Yeah, he could be in the same room as Kaya, and he would get that message from Veloska. You would see him on his phone, read it for a second. No shift in his facial expression. Just like, open up a different message, and then you get that message on your phone.
They're sitting right fucking next to each other.
Yeah, they could be working on a drone together,
Yeah.
and he would stop, look at his phone. Hey, what are you doing? Goes back to working on the drone after he sends a text. Immediately you get a text.
Fucking looks at him, looks down the phone, doesn't say anything, puts in the fucking text message group chat, be there in 30. Starts packing up her shit.
Leaving, getting like literally on your way out the door. Ben Getty's just like, "I'll work on the drones. Have fun." Unless you drag him out, he is going to stay home, which you can. You can drag him out.
She can. She'd probably be like, "You don't want to fucking see your friend."
Well, she's with Veloska. She's fine.
Does Kaya want to drag Bengetti out?
Does
the
Kaya
point?
trust
I don't think.
Bengetti to work on the drones by himself?
That's the thing. That's also the thing.
What fuck shit is he going to get up to without Kaya's supervision?
Yeah.
What
She is
features
that-
will not be on the drone without without Kaya's supervision?
I feel like she's a lot of practice with this with Rat.
Mm-hmm. Rat is a little bit more flashy. Rat would add like
Yeah.
rockets and shit to the drones. Maybe add like a spoil, like the equivalent of like a hot rod spoiler to the back of it, like shit like that. Bengetti might add something dangerous and experimental to it.
That might fucking explode.
Yeah, it might explode or break.
Yeah. She'd probably like in the middle of her fucking packing up her shit. She's like, yeah, drone. She's like stops and she's like slowly turns, sees all of the shit that she has laid out for the drones, sees him, looks back at the drones, looks back at him.
You're coming with me, bitch.
Nah, you're coming with me.
What? No. And yet, he did.
We're all going to go see Lockhart.
I'm just imagining Lockhart receives this text.
She's unconscious.
Sighs.
She can't do anything.
She
can do
messaged
jack shit.
Marcus.
Even if she was awake, you could be wide awake. Veloska would send it in this. They do the same thing that Bengetti did.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
look at you, just shrug, send a message to Bengetti, and then the message pops up in the group chat, and you just look at Veloska like, what the fuck? And you're just like,
Yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen. Lockhart was gonna look at Veloska like, really?
I didn't tell everyone. That was him. Get mad at him.
Any emergency contacts if someone was in critical condition?
I had to let him know that his bodyguard was suffering from, let's see, multiple contusions, has a couple of stitches, has a couple of hairline fractures, has a dislocated shoulder. Do you want me to go on? You can't fucking bodyguard when you look like a test track dummy.
Lockhart just glares because she doesn't really have a retort for that.
You glare at him, and he's holding up like a little tablet where he keeps all of his notes, and he has little reading glasses on. You give him like one little stern look. He throws the tablet onto the nearby sofa, and he just looks at you and just goes, "What? Are you going to try and do something? Go for it." He just does like a stand-up gesture. Fucking come on.
Veloska ready to fight today.
There is a very slight second where she considers it. She just turns away and fucking puts on TV or something.
He just nods, lets you watch TV. But like at this point, JJ is stable. He is unconscious. He is passed the fuck out.
Good for him.
He deserves a nap.
And
it's gonna be a headache.
That's like Voloska's petty vengeance is being like kind of snarky and shitty whenever you get there late. That is the most you get from him. It's like his petty revenge is like, cool, I'll fix you up, do exactly what you need to do, make sure you get better, and I will be annoying and rude because you got to my house at 1 a.m. I was asleep. I don't want to be awake at 1 a.m. I'm not a doctor. I'm not on call. This is bullshit.
You do realize this place is going to be packed soon, right?
It's just like from across the room. It's bigger than my previous place. It's not like it won't fit everyone.
Hmm. She just looks so annoyed right now. Like, I already have a freaking headache. I don't want to deal with this. I feel like shit. And also, low-key, pride gonna be a bit wounded here. She's not excited for this at all.
It's like, I have a little bit of a headache. Take Vicodin. Throws you a pill bottle.
Fucking, ugh.
Lockhart
No.
being the snarky one, surrounded by the snarky characters.
JJ just sitting on the couch, like probably 6 feet away from Lockhart, just.
Also a snarky character who is just unconscious at the moment. When he wakes up, he's gonna have so much fucking.
He's gonna feel like shit.
The bandages that are upon like the different all over you and JJ. JJ has what looks to be like a 4-inch squared or a 4-inch square pack of like bandaged gauze. He has no shirt on, or rather he has like his white collared shirt, like the button down shirt. It's untucked and like some of the buttons are undone around the collar area because Voloska had to take off his shirt or open it up to get to the wound that was in his side. He's packed it, he has stitched it, and like it damn near looks like he took a small novel and just used that thickness worth of gauze and bandage and like put it on either side of his of that gaping wound, like right around his liver, and just like other like bandages and other things. Like you, Lockhart, you have a nice, real good shiner right on the left eye. I think it was your left eye.
It was
and you
the
have,
head, if I remember correctly.
and you've got like a just fucking nasty purple bruise forming in the shape of a boomerang around your brow line, and there's a bandage that's taped around your head and kind of other ones in your arm. Your arm is not broken, but there's like a brace around your arm and a brace around your leg.
Yeah, the sling type thing.
Yeah, kind of a very loose sling. It's enough to keep your arm movement restricted, but you can still move and bend your arm as you like because your arm is not broken and the shoulder has been popped back into the socket, but it's meant to keep it at a very, very restricted range of movement so that it doesn't get worse.
Yeah, it'll be healed in a couple days. It'll be fine.
Yeah, both you and JJ look like cartoon characters that got hit by a car.
I mean, being hit by a car is better than getting mobbed by a fucking army of robots.
And so the party descends upon Lockhart.
Again, the party descends upon Voloska doing medical work, which he hates.
He brought this upon himself.
You know, like, this place is going to be crowded, and he was just like, oh, I'm not happy about it, but at least it's bigger than my previous place, which was not supposed to have even, like, 6 people in it, let alone the fucking small militia that you brought. This is bullshit.
See, at least this place, I imagine, has a separate room that's a little bit easier for him to, like, squirrel himself
Hide.
away.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As soon as he gets wind that they're leaving, he fucking just like, all right, let me get my dinner, so I can not have to come out.
There is a kitchenette. There's like a living room and everything, and then there's a back room and a bathroom and a separate area, and it's just like, oh, thank God I can go and close the door.
I was gonna suggest maybe moving JJ into the room since he kind of needs the rest, but
Well, JJ is unconscious enough that I imagine it's gonna take a bit to wake him up.
I don't think that they can wake him up, honestly.
He's gonna sleep as much as he needs to sleep right now.
Mm-hmm. That ain't a nap.
That's a
Man,
long
sorry.
rest.
He is unconscious and then probably got a little bit of extra drugs in his system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not
One-
sleeping.
100%.
He's unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't a choice.
so like JJ has the couch. I imagine Lockhart's in a kind of like what are they called, a lazy boy-esque kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhat comfy, sleepable, could recline a bit.
You have a spot on your own, all your own, that you can have a nice little relaxed lay down on, and like JJ is mostly tucked away on the side of the couch.
Mm. Lockhart is mentally bracing herself for. I guess she just thinks Kaya's coming. No one else said they were coming over, did they?
Depends on how closely she was paying attention to the group text, because Kaya texted, but she probably would have seen all of the other pings of people red at the exact same time.
Yep. You would have gotten. Cosmic would have said, in just as simple a word as possible. Kaya says, "Be there in 30." Cosmic, okay.
Is Cosmic coming?
Yeah.
Not same, just okay.
Just like literally that.
And it would be up to Marcus to reply, because Legacy's not going to reply because she was too busy coercing for treats.
They're gonna be a minute.
Actually, I imagine they probably still end up being the first ones there, because in the map, Veluska, where Veluska is in the same, or is in Voyager, and Marcus's apartment is right on the border.
Yeah, I believe. From this perspective, where's the measuring tool? Doot. Yeah, so it wouldn't take super long for Marcus and Legacy to get there. And I think if Kaya was still at Ben Getty's apartment, it would take Kaya the longest. It would take Kaya basically a few hours to be there as fast as she possibly could.
Okay, then whatever time it is, I just said 30 because I just input random time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It would be
whatever.
Marcus and Legacy are the closest. Technically, Cosmic, because he's in a different wing, might actually
Yeah,
be the
Cosmic's-
furthest out, but it depends on how fast that inter-wing transport moves.
Yeah, it would take Cosmic somewhere between 2.5 and 3 hours.
Just everyone. I honestly, Lockhart needs to appreciate this group. Everyone is immediately dropping everything.
Maybe if I don't answer the door, they'll go away.
Good luck with
People
that,
are
because
just
it'll be
gonna-
Marcus first, and like knock, 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 and then nothing and nothing, and then Legacy just fucking kicking the door of like, let us the fuck in.
Marcus, knock, knock, knock. Oh, there's no one here. Knock, knock, knock. Do you sure we have the right address? Is like, move over.
Open this door right now. I'm not leaving.
She
Willow's
had
already opening the door because he got tired of just the second knock.
Knock, knock, open. Just like, stop. Just fucking come in.
there was a slight hope, just the smallest glimmer.
Legacy with like the fucking giant like Oreo shake.
I'm excited because this is just a fun detail for me. I always like to give Cosmic like some stupid gigantic treat.
Yes, I love it so much.
So he'll have some ridiculous like
Giant funnel
big
cake.
gulp slushy or funnel cake or like 47 donuts.
Yo,
And he'll
he
share.
share donuts for the squad.
Yeah, he'll share.
These are
And if nobody asks, like nobody takes any, he'll just eat all of them.
Yeah.
The
These
beanpole
are
that can
better
put it
donuts.
away.
The fucking boy's metabolism is out of control.
These are donuts that make you feel better. I'm sorry you got fucked up.
I'm sorry you got fucked up.
I think we've devolved for the night, Joe.
True. Very true. But if Weird gets canceled on Sunday because Piper is too tired from work, I would be game to run again, and we could have just more chill roleplay dialogue, which I imagine it would probably be.
Have Lockhart info dump her shit. And then that would give Legacy something to do because she has a hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
Just to clarify, the arrival order is what? Legacy and Marcus, and then who?
And then Cosmic, and then Kaya and Bengetti.
Okay. Cosmic, Aya, and...
There's some small part of me that wants Legacy to like turn and like point at Kaya when she is coming through the door of like, why are you fucking late?
Why are you late? He's like, I came from 4 wards over.
Still late.
I have the fastest motorcycle on the station.